Meeting to order. Please stand to salute the nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In attendance this evening are Supervisors Fisher, Aguizio, Cassiola, and Ron Fleer. In addition, Township Manager Don Januso, Jack King, Director of Planning and Assistant Township Manager, Engineer Joe Seitz of Gateway Engineers, and Township Solicitor Jordan Strausberger. Comments will be taken at this time for any item to be voted on by the board that appears on the agenda. General Township comments or questions will be addressed after the Board of Supervisors discussion of old business. Please step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Nobody. Jordan Tax Service will be at the Municipal Building on Friday, July 9th from 9 to noon to collect school taxes. The CeciL Township Historical Society will meet on Wednesday, July 21st at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building. Anyone who is fully vaccinated does not have to wear a mask while attending a meeting in the Municipal Building. Movie in the Park is Saturday, July 24th, Seoul. The movie will begin at dusk. This evening's resolutions. 121-2021. Consider adopting the standard DEP resolution for the planning module for sanitary sewers servicing new construction of proposed apartments at 10 Muse Bishop Road, Cannonsburg, PA 15317. The planning module has been approved by the CeciL Township Municipal Authority and the Cannonsburg-Houston Joint Authority. Any questions? Joe, you have anything you want to say about it? It's been moved at second. I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 4-0. 122-2021. Consider adopting the standard DEP resolution for the planning module for sanitary sewer servicing new home construction at 17 Muse Bishop Road, Cannonsburg, PA 15317. The planning module has been approved by the CeciL Township Municipal Authority and the Cannonsburg-Houston Joint Authority. I'll second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes 4-0. 123-2021. Consider a conditional use application 2021-13 for the Omega Building Company's self-storage facility location north side of South Point Boulevard with the South Point Square Development C1 General Commercial Zoning District. Applicant Omega Building Company. The Planning Commission recommended approval contingent upon addressing comments from the Township Engineer on May 20th, 2021. I would also like to add, based on the conditional use hearing, that this is approved pending those two requested items, the notification from West Penn Power and the notification from PennDOT for the approval of their roadway. Yes. Okay.
Joe, has everything been addressed?
All the technical issues have been addressed. There's just some housekeeping things with regards to developers agreement and so forth, but there's no reason why this site plan could not be approved.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. 124-2021. Consider application 2021-14 for the Omega Building Company self-storage facility site plan location north side of South Point Boulevard with a South Point Square Development C1 General Commercial Zoning District. Applicant Omega Building Company. The Planning Commission recommended approval contingent. Is this the same thing? I think this is the same one. Oh, right, okay, sorry. Recommended approval contingent upon addressing comments from the Township Engineer and any and all concerns from the Fire Department, including access on May 20th, 21. Same items, the two letters, West Penn Power and PennDOT. Do I have a motion?
Has everything been addressed for the fire department?
Mac, have you looked or talked about this plan at all, the Omega Building Company, the self-storage facility?
I have not so far.
So can you coordinate with our fire chief on that, Mac? So at the end of the meeting, or before you leave, can you give him your information so that he can contact you? Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. 125, 2021, consider accepting the resignation of Marianne Chawala from the CeciL Township Parks and Recreation Board effective immediately.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Passes 4-0. 126, 2021, consider accepting the resignation of Jennifer Andreas Moninger from the CeciL Township Parks and Recreation Board effective immediately.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Do we have people to replace these people?
Jack, you do have people to replace them. I'm sorry? Do you want to add it to August? They can start participating now, but just give it to us the names for the August meeting so we can announce them. Thank you. 127, 2021, consider hiring Quinn Dantry for the position of school crossing guard for the Muse Elementary School. This is to replace Rich Coder, who retired at the end of the school year.
I'll make that motion.
Good. I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. 128, 2021, consider the Board of Supervisors regular monthly minutes from the Monday, June 7th, 2021, CeciL Township Board of Supervisors regular monthly meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 129, 2021, consider the general fund invoices from June 1st through June 30th, 2021.
I'll make a motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Since we're done with resolutions, Joe, do you have one?
Couple things Dan asked me to share with the board tonight. The first thing was the closure plan for Rose Avenue. There's I've got up there on the screen, what's to be done to saw cuss the existing pavement, remove the pavement in its entirety. And then on sheet 2, it's supposed to be a mound of dirt. Up in the upper left-hand corner is the proposed vegetated berm detail. It'll be mounded up with dirt. And then there'll be some plantings along the center line of that mound with evergreens. All this work, I believe, is to be done by Public Works.
I really like it.
Who's going to be liable if somebody wrecks into this?
It's just trees, right?
That's a good legal question.
It's a public facility, just like if somebody wrecked into our sign up here. I mean, the insurance company would be notified from the card.
There's signage. I actually drove it the other day because I was curious. There's signage all coming down already that says that it's no outlet. So if somebody does it, it would be at their own fault.
Sure. That makes sense.
Dan said something about it'd be planted so it's basically maintenance free.
I believe so, yes. I mean, that's why, I believe that's why they selected the evergreen shrubs. Evergreens are pretty much
I don't mean that, I'm
maintenance.
talking about the mound area, the remaining grassy space. He said it would be planted in something that'll.
They've probably got to specify a low-grown, no-mow grass seed on there.
And naturally, we'll remove the pipe and everything that's there.
Excuse me, I didn't,
We'll remove the pipe and stuff that's there.
yes, I believe so, yes. Okay. The other thing you wanted me to bring to the board's attention was we're working on the plans for the Public Works facility, and that he'd like to have a meeting with the board at some point here in the future to go over the plans and give you an update on that.
Do you guys want to throw out some dates now? We could have an evening meeting and just get that scheduled. What about, does Monday work for everyone? What about Monday, the 19th, 7 p.m.? Can you, Joe, will you check with Dan and make sure that works and let us know? Okay, thank you.
That's it. And then the other thing I wanted me to point out to you with regards to the one bridge, I apologize here. With the Ridgewood Heights Bridge, that there's really no need for us to implement the center pier change or alternate on that. That's going to be a cost savings, probably about $5,200. There's going to be some rock veins. It was $5,200.
No, it was, I thought it was like
53,000.
50. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not taking it out?
He said that there's a plan to put some rock veins in this redirect the water away from the center pier.
So we don't get that silt buildup.
Right. So it's to be self-cleaning. That's, like, there's a big name for that, fluvial geomorphology or something like that. FMG for short.
That's a big saving, so that's good. Okay.
Okay, that's all I have. Let's see other questions on the report.
I want to take a second, Chief Mack, our new fire chief, after 1 month here. How's it going?
Yeah, actually, I think 3 weeks.
Sorry, 3 weeks.
Ready to put my 2-week notice in?
Hey, none of that.
Just kidding, just kidding. Yeah, it's going well. I've been obviously getting acquainted with the township folks here in my office here. I've been meeting with the chief officers in the 3 fire stations. We've been meeting weekly. We've started with training as far as bringing the departments together and working together and training together. We've started the process of discussing communications and response and how to streamline our volunteers, working together. Things we're kind of on our radar are medical physicals for everyone, minimum standards for interior firefighters, and an agility test, writing standard operating procedures. And, all 3 departments have these, but I think it's safe for me to say that they've kind of outgrown them a little bit, and that's common with fire departments. So we're going back to revisit them and kind of bring them all under one roof for I guess is the best way of putting it. I talked to Cindy recently about putting together a long-term plan for fire station locations, apparatus, replacement, and I'll tell you, I'm not complaining about this, but I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions, but that's okay. It's the township needs, you have a great fire service here, you certainly do, but I think we just need to bring it all together and work together a little better, and I think that's that's one of my main reasons for being here. But overall, I can't express how whether it's Carol or Dawn or the supervisors, the public works director, whoever, just kind of reaching out to me, making me feel welcome, asking me if I need anything. So it's been very easy transition coming into the township. So yeah, I'll be here every monthly, and I've already talked to Carol just here in the last week about we're going to streamline the reporting that each fire department does. Right now, as you walk in, you see kind of 3 different reports. Well, you're gonna start seeing one report. It'll be from all 3 fire stations, but it's gonna kind of be condensed and a little more user-friendly, if you will. So little things like that are just kind of on the map here, and we got a long road ahead of us, but I think it was a good move, hiring a fire chief and bringing this all together. So look forward to the future, and if I'm curled up in a corner, then you'll know that it's gotten to me. But so far, so good.
We have faith. We have faith. Thank you. Moving on to Board of Supervisors discussion and new business. Anybody have anything they want to bring up? Old business?
Yeah, under old business. With school being out a month now, and Joe, I don't know, do you have any information on this? Where are we at with the demolition of the existing Muse Post Office? Do you know if there's been a contract put out to demolish this and put the new piece of road in, or?
It went out for bid.
Frank, to answer your question, I don't know anything, but fortunately, I have a meeting with their architect in another community tomorrow, and I can ask them at that time, and I can let the board
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
They did put it out for bid,
Recently?
yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay, Joe, thanks.
Let me see what I can find out. I'll
Thank
let
you.
know.
So I forgot on something on new business.
Yep.
I'd mentioned about the French Club, the demolition, we were court ordered to demolish it. It will be at our expense, and then we were ordered to lien the property. I mentioned that someone came forward with an interest in trying to restore the building and put it back on the tax rolls. I know that the guy's here today, but my interest in was that once we put out that money for the demolition, we were going to be sitting on it. And maybe the solicitor can bring us up to date on that. Whenever we do something like that, lien a property, how long does it take for us to be able to try to execute on where we could actually sell the property and recoup some of our money?
It can take a while. I mean, it can take up to a year.
Oh, just a year?
That's quick for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I always understood that our lien rides under 6%, that standard interest rates get added every year to it, and but we just have to wait it out until the property sells or something like that to get our money.
Well,
Are we
sure.
trying to sell, I mean, would we demolish it and then put it up for sale, or the property owner?
Well, no, if we demolish it, we would lien the property, and then we have to pay the contractor who did it. And
Right.
then
We have to
until-
wait for the property owner to sell it.
Right, and,
Yeah.
I don't know where we are in line in relationship to taxes that are owed and things like that on it, or back taxes. I don't know where we stand in that hierarchy for our part. But I'm just saying, this fellow came forward and he says that he had a structural engineer look at it, and he said, I said it could be fixed, it's structurally sound. And he said he could give us paperwork that he could have an architectural plan ready, show that he has the money in a bank or can get it, that he would take it and actually get the work done and not just buy it and let it sit in the condition it's in.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't know what kind of process we'd have to have Gretchen go back to Judge Emery
Well,
and
Dawn
make
did
sure.
talk to Gretchen about it, and she says she would
I saw the
go to
email.
Judge Emery, and she feels there's no reason why Judge Emery wouldn't say, if there's a chance to, put it back on the tax rolls. The other thing, if we demolished it, we would leave a clean, level lot there. Now, the question is whether that lot could sell for, how much of our money we could get back. And then, I don't know how usable it is. The property around it is limited for developing that building, but he says he has a pending or sales agreement conditioned on him getting that property of the surrounding parcels around it, that I guess it's owned by Jim Coleman, and he'd get extra acreage there to
So for what he would,
for parking, to use the
no,
building.
I mean, what would he use the building for,
Well,
apartments?
he wants to turn it into 6 apartments.
I'm fine with it. I mean,
Is it 4 or
We-
6?
I think we're gonna look pretty foolish in
four-
front
four
of Kathy
apartments.
Emery.
I'm sorry?
We're gonna look foolish. We paid Gretchen all this money and all this time, and how much time Mike has had in it. I mean, there's no parking there. And I understand where Jim Coleman is, but the right-of-way, my mother owns. So he's not gonna use that.
Well, but the point is, he said he would get it.
You
he's
can
there.
step to the microphone if you want to answer some of these questions.
Hello, I'm Pavel Schlahovsky, partner with Steve Harris, Blessed Investment Group, and I have a few pages. My first time at a board meeting in my life like this, so I only
Welcome.
printed 2 copies.
That's okay, we can
So,
share.
But I want to show you, who can I bring this over to?
You can just pass out one copy to the two of them and one copy to the two of us.
There's one copy here, there's one copy here, this is the one I want to discuss, and here's a copy of the sales agreements for both properties, I just printed one of each. So, the overview that we had is, we'd actually like to turn it between 8 and 10 apartments, high loft ceiling apartments, possible balconies. The overview we have is 22 Miwani is an old French club that has been abandoned for many years. It is slated to be torn down. Up until recently, the property surrounding the building was not for sale, leaving less than needed parking for an apartment or any viable suitable use. The goals for tonight I would like to present is to start the process to reverse the decision to tear it
Slow down a
down.
little bit.
Sorry.
You're reading, could you slow down so everybody can hear?
No problem. The goals that we wanted to present here is to start the process to reverse the decision to tear down. 2 is set a process to move forward on purchasing the property and learn what is needed to permit the use of an 8 to 10 unit apartment. And the third is to need a commitment from the board for necessary due diligence for time. The background, this is my partner's background. He's not here because his kids had a baseball function to go with the family. But Steve Harris's background, my partner, 17 years in the business. He has a total of 145 local apartments, multifamily, larger, smaller. Self-managed with privately owned management company by Blessed Investment Group. All of his current rents, units have been distressed. They were distressed units, so the track history, we buy distressed houses and we remodel it. We partner with my company, Schley Construction. We have 70-plus employees in the company. We're a good outfit with a good reputation. And we have financing backing through Enterprise Bank, Commercial Bank, or Slovenian Savings and Loan. And we have an architect ready to start the project and to be able to develop these drawings. We did attach a structural engineer report by Ed Herzl, assessed the building as structurally sound and serviceable. And there's a report on the second page behind it. The reason for this project is, one, pay back taxes to make current to the township, and two, for you guys not to have to pay to tear it down $45,000. The second page has the structural report by the engineer that the bones are good, and it can be serviceable and can be engineered and properly put together into a functioning property. There's a report there, there's a phone number, there is, if anybody in the board or township engineer wants to call and discuss what he has found in the report. And then the third page has some pictures. They were bad print copy, but that's the pictures of the exterior of the building. And then the last page shows the property parcels, and we do have two properties under contract. One is the Miwani building itself, pending obviously board's decision for us to be able to try to salvage this property. And also the property right next to it we do have, you can see how we have almost a 1 acre space that we would like to turn into a parking space or necessary space for this property to be able to tie them together. So that's our, I wish Steve would have been here to meet everybody, and he's a great guy, has been in the business for many years, a great family guy. He's involved as baseball coach at South Fayette with the high school and kids. He would have loved to have been here, but his commitment was to be there before this meeting was happening, so.
So are you asking us for a decision this evening, or are you just asking for the ability to start looking into the process of whether or not this can be done? I mean, it seems like you're pretty far down that road.
We're pretty far. We have an architect ready to start, but we don't want to start something if you guys already have it scheduled to be torn down. We'd like to have the decision of tearing it down to give us time to put the project together and plans together to present to you. Maybe it's the next board meeting,
That's
but
what I was thinking.
we would like to try to get permission from you to be able to delay the process, and then we would start our due diligence. We have 30 days to put together a package with the build out, and I mean, it's a quick time frame to put together drawings, not for construction, but for planning and budgeting purposes, so we can see
So
where
why
we're at.
don't we add you to the August agenda? But then we will also start the process with our solicitor, reaching out to Judge Emery to try to see.
I think we gotta have an executive session with Gretchen to go over some of the terms that we would have to make sure
Right.
that would be part of the agreement before we even approach Judge Emery.
So you want to wait until after August meeting?
No, I'm saying this month the board should meet with Gretchen and go over some terms that.
But we will need to publicly approve terms once they're agreed to with them. So that would have to be done in
the term
August.
would be with his company.
That's what I'm saying. So we can't do that with an executive session with him behind closed doors. So we have to, so they can present, we can work with Gretchen over the next month on terms via email, and then
We
work.
gotta get it to them, the terms that we could live with, and if they're willing to accept those terms, then we can approve it at the meeting in August.
Okay.
If I may suggest something, if it's possible, I don't know what the terms will be, but one of the thoughts that we had was, you guys have bids and things together to tear this down for $45,000. If we would put that money in escrow, that if we don't come through with this project, that the money's there, we're not gonna back out of the deal if we're gonna go through with the project. But something to
I
think
like
about when
that
you guys do
idea.
your terms. I don't know how that all works, but just
like I
Why
said,
don't you, our normal solicitor's not here this evening, so give us like a week to have it. We'll get an executive session together with her. If you leave your information with our township manager, Don Juso, although I think we have it, we can get back in touch with you and then you can present at our August meeting.
Next step of action is for me to reach out to Dawn.
Yeah, he's right here. So before you leave tonight, just give him your information. He'll give you his. We can communicate back and forth, and we will have an executive session to come up with some terms.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We
Thank you.
gotta see if we can do this first.
Right.
Before Gretchen goes and does anything.
Well, we can't go to Judge Emery until we know there's terms. That's what Tom's saying.
Right.
And he's right, yeah.
Maybe we can do this at, what do we do Monday?
We have to wait to see when Gretchen's coming back, the 19th. Yeah, we could do it the 19th.
Yeah, that's, just to go over that building plan. You don't know when Gretchen's coming back.
I'm sure she'll be back on the 19th, don't you think? She's back on the 19th. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll find out if she's gonna be back by the 19th.
Let's
And
plan on seeing if she can help us on the 19th.
okay. Yep, sounds good. All right, old business. Klinger Park, just an update on the connector road. They are starting the process of that construction, so that's moving forward. We're waiting for Matt Gelati at South Point Fieldhouse to follow through with some things that he owes us. Remember when he ran that pipe through the center? He owes us some things too related to a parking lot for the Montour Trail. We are actively working, as you know, I've been actively working to continue that the original plan, I guess you would say, that was put into place, but I've met some resistance from the Kanamaku Soccer Association. I've asked them now for 2 months in a row for a future plan, what they intend to invest, what they intend to do. I even followed up with the guy today and asked him, and I've gotten absolutely no response. So I think at this board, at some point in the near future, there is outside interest for development. Maybe in our August meeting or September meeting, need to consider whether or not we're going to be able to move forward with Klinger Park, or we need to figure out a different plan of attack. Now opening it up if nobody else has any old business. Citizens' general comments and questions. Anybody have any comments or questions for something that does not appear on the agenda?
Kara Sheridan, 58 North DePauli. I just had a question about some chatter on Facebook about a proposed plan going in between North DePauli and Rising Road. And I just wanted to clarify with the board kind of where that stands, any knowledge anybody has of what that proposed plan is. I guess some residents on Rising received some letters, so.
I think it was on North DePauli, received some letters. I actually saw, I actually saw it for the first time on social media. So I don't know, Jack, is that something that's going before the planning right now or not? Yeah, so at this point, I would say if they received any sort of notification, it would have been from somebody who's interested in developing the property and is planning to start the process of running through Planning Commission and come to the Board of Supervisors. But there is no current active plan for a neighborhood that has come before us on,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Miranda Homes has purchased the property.
Okay.
but they have not started the process through the township.
But they bought the property, they are going to develop it,
What's that plot? How big, how many acres is that plot? Just
146 acres.
146. So I'm just curious, like, what notification would they be sending out before it's even gone through planning
Probably
commission?
notification, so before a zoning hearing or before a public planning commission meeting, they have to notify residents within so many feet of the property.
Not necessarily. If it's a PR, if they're going to be requesting a PRD
I
or
don't-
change the zoning, they would have to. But if it's just a straight-up development on conforming zoning, they just start with the planning commission.
But it's not there. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. We haven't seen it. I sent somebody a message who posted that on social media. She has yet to provide me with a notification.
I'd love to see what it's about. I mean, because if it's not on, sorry, I'm not supposed to look at you.
You can look at them.
If it's not on the planning commission agenda yet, and they're telling people there's a meeting, I mean, I'm just confused as to what is the information that they're
I can't say for sure whether or not it is on planning commission. Liz isn't here, our director of zoning. We can find out for you and get back to you, but it's not something that's come before our board.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I just think there's a lot of misinformation and people getting upset about things that aren't even like written in stone yet, I guess.
It's called the
Well,
internet.
the main entrance is gonna come off Rising Road. They bought the 146 acres and they bought all the greenhouses. The lady that owns the greenhouses is staying there. Her house is staying. But people saying about the entrance on DePauli, it's not. It's gonna come right off Rising Road.
Has it gone to planning?
Right where the entrance is to go down to the greenhouses. They've met with PennDOT and everything already.
It's in the very beginning stages at this point. So the township has really no information at this point.
Okay,
Miranda normally does go for PRDs, so there will be public notice and actually a public hearing on it, initially, before it even goes to the planning commission for regular subdivision.
Right, which requires
approvals. Like I said, but if they don't go for a PRD.
Tom,
it's just
speak
a
into your
straight-
microphone.
I'm sorry. It's just a straight application then if they're going to just follow the current zoning. Someday there'll be an application in front of the planning commission. That's all it happens on conventional. or
so
standard.
are you saying if it is a PRD, they had to go to the zoning board first?
No, I said that
no.
there would be a public hearing and
Public hearing.
notifications. Yes,
Okay.
even before they present any plan to the planning commission for, the subdivision itself.
Okay,
Another thing, last time I checked, they were figuring on 325 houses.
But again, that's like private information Supervisor Fleer has gotten. That is not information that has been in any way presented to the township.
okay, thanks for that. I had one other question about that French club or whatever that you guys are talking about. Is that in a zoning area that would be permittive of townhomes? I guess, I mean, since the school over there is apartments or whatever. I'm just curious what the
I
zoning
can
is.
answer that. It is zoned for multi-tenant buildings. It's zoned R2, which is a permitted use.
Okay. And I guess just the other thing about that is if there's delays, is there any concern about like that not be a structurally sound building or damage or like the original reasons why you were going to have it demolished sooner rather than later? Is there any concerns about?
Not if they provided, yeah.
Our meeting will be about.
Yeah, I mean, not if they provided something from a structural engineer, but that would be, I don't know if you heard him say they were willing to put money in escrow, whatever the cost would have been for us to demolish it, money in escrow, so that if they can't move forward or something happens, that we have the money to move forward with the original plan anyways.
Yep, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Very last thing, sorry, I didn't know if there was any update. I know we talked, I think Frank mentioned it a few meetings ago about the approval for the COVID relief funding. I just was curious if we knew what we were going to use that funding for or when we
We
can
haven't
actually
even gotten, so I got notification, which I sent to Dawn, from the state that we did not receive funding in the first round of funding, which went out I want to say it was last Thursday, that we're in the second round. So we don't even know when that second round is going to come, when it's going to be released. They haven't even released a date, so at this point, we have no plan.
That's it, thanks.
Thanks. Any other comments or questions?
Darlene Barney. This is just to reiterate on these here 229 single-family resident homes that is supposed to be located on that parcel of land along Rising Road. Parcel ID number, it's all in here. The new development will contain 225 single-family resident lots. I'm surprised the board doesn't know anything about this.
I mean, we can't go out, like Ron knew, but like, we can't go out and hunt everybody down. Like, there is a requirement if they want to go through a PRD to come and present the information to the board, or to the township. They have not done so. So what notification they sent out to the residents essentially means nothing at this point, because nothing has been township approved, whether planning commission or board of supervisors.
Okay, I'm just reiterating here that as a requirement of the ordinance 5, 2016 of the CeciL Township zoning ordinance, we are notifying that a new residential development will be constructed on a parcel of land located along Rising Road.
That's what I was talking about, notification, but there's no approval. So they can say whatever, I don't say,
Who's that written to?
and by, but who wrote it? Who wrote the letter? Does it say?
Engineering firm.
Yeah, we have nothing before our board.
Oh, notifying residents.
Yeah, they don't have any, like, obligation to notify them, but there also is nothing here. So they can say, I don't want to say they can say whatever they want, but it's not factually accurate.
An engineering firm.
Then I would have tell that resident to reach out to that engineer and ask to provide the approval of the township, because it didn't happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just bringing it up, being that she
Yeah.
brought it up. I'm bringing it up because what I got. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Good evening, Michael DiMatteo, property owner, 315 and 313 Valley Road, which is situated corner of 980 Valley Road, adjacent to the Turtle Twist custard shop there. And those of you familiar with that area, there's a creek that runs in front of my property. And when we have heavy rains like we did the last couple of weeks, our property gets flooded. It didn't used to get flooded. I'm a new owner since my parents had passed. So it didn't used to get flooded because of, there wasn't all those developments up Burnside. So that creek runs the length of Burnside Road. And since all of these developments have been placed up there, we get a lot of watershed that collects into that relatively small stream. It's all free flow from our property upstream until you get to Yost Trucking, and that's the bottleneck of that stream. It becomes piped the length of Yost property. And I'm not here to implicate or to blame Yost, because for 40, 50 years since that stream has been piped, it has run free without any flooding on our properties. But since those developments have come in, that creek usually spills over and floods our basement area there. The berm of the road is higher than our property now that the road continues to be built up. So I'm continuously cleaning up mud and creek debris that everybody throws in upstream from me. So I'm just wondering, from a township perspective, what we might be able to do to manage the water that comes into that stream, or to provide some relief to myself as a property owner.
So is this the first time you've brought this information to the township? Okay, so since that, I actually have had multiple conversations with our regular township engineer, Dan Dyersroth, and there was a significant number of residents who were affected by flooding because of that, what he called a 500-year storm. I know. So,
It's more frequently than every 500.
I hear you. What I would ask is that you give your information to Joe Seitz, who's sitting right here, and then our township engineer will reach out to you. He will come to your property, he will look at things, make an assessment, let us know, is it something that is it being caused by something that we did or have done in the past, or is this a private property issue? And then we can kind of go from there. We've had everybody do that for the past couple weeks. It's worked well. We've got them the answers they're looking for. It may not be the answer that you want, but it's the answer that it is the answer. And so that's kind of where we go from there. So if you just want to provide your name, address, and contact information to Joe, you'll hear back from Dan I would say within 24 or 48 hours.
And related to that is the open Great Bridge that crosses, I guess that's Little Chartiers Creek there. There's been survey stakes, there's been a lot of activity. I've not received any notification personally about the plans to that bridge, but there are survey stakes that are on like our property, so I don't have any idea what's going on.
That's a Washington County bridge. Contact the bridge department at the county. I think
So
Vince
we
Lace-
unfortunately, I don't know what they're doing there. So, but they would be able to give you answers. And if for some reason they don't respond to you or don't get back to you, let us know and we can reach out on your behalf, but it's always better if you start first and then we get in second.
It's just a lot of hassle because that continues to run onto our property versus the road.
I hear you, and I know it's no consolation, but you are by far not the only one, so.
Unfortunately, we're the next to last property that has free
We've been talking about, and this is something the board is working on, but like a stormwater management, type program. That is something, go ahead.
But as a matter of fact, Dan says he was gonna be able to make give us some information on.
He did.
I mean, I'm just talking about, not on these particular ones, about how we can address it, an overall township,
He sent,
way
I
to
think, an
ad-
email
address
to
it.
all of us. He sent an email to all of us. He wants to do a presentation probably on the 19th, whenever he comes. Hold on. Flooding and rain.
well, that's what I was gonna ask you, if he could come on the 19th.
Yeah, I already emailed him. He said.
All right. That's,
While we were
we are
sitting
gonna
here.
be meeting with our engineer on some ideas, because ultimately the township, everybody looks to the township to handle stormwater issues, even on private property,
Right.
which normally we don't get involved with. But Dan's gonna give us some information on what we can consider to start addressing some of the worst hit areas.
And Dan
Dan Dowser, our township engineer.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, that's awesome.
maybe
He
on the-
sent us an email at 3:30. I saw it. I don't know if you guys saw it, but take a second to look through it, and he's going to talk about it when we talk about the Public Works building.
But
on
on the
the-
19th.
on the 19th,
Okay,
yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
good.
Okay, are you good? Anything else? No, please, go ahead. You're fine.
So to the point, Mr. CeciL, about the stormwater and the private property, you know, the properties that we have there, that's kind of like the last leg of the sanitary stores as well. And this is, when those sanitary stores went in back in the 80s, I think it was, 70s, 80s, I'm going to say 80s, they had tremendous stormwater infiltration, so much so that they constantly back up into those, again, the tail end of that sanitary sewer, which is, again, another property.
Right, that's the point. There was flooding there even before the developments went in. When that interceptor went up there, I think the authority had to go in and put backflow preventers on all the sanitary lines for all those people, because it was, because of stormwater, and I, it was backing up into sewer into people's homes. So
Right.
I remember that. In the 90s, we had to do that, or the authority had to do that, put those backflow preventers. So, I mean, it was flooding even back then.
So we have shut-offs. We don't necessarily, I don't know that we have backwater preventers. We have shut-offs that, we have a large curb key that you have to run outside into the pit, and you turn it probably 60 or 80 times before it finally shuts off, and by that time, it's already backed up. So I'd be very interested in the,
Well, initially, when I was there, they talked about putting backflow preventers.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Again, like this, I would just have that conversation with Dan Dizeroth, and then he will get you and us the information that we need to move forward.
Perfect. And just one more thing for the record, and it may sound like sour grapes, but the comment was asked earlier, or the question was asked earlier about the Muse Post Office and when it would be torn down. And frankly, as a previous owner of the Muse Post Office, my father, my brother, and I, we were run out of the Muse Post Office by eminent domain.
Yeah, we know.
Township, I'm sorry, not
The
the
school
township.
district.
School district had to have that building. We had just signed a brand-new lease for the Muse Post Office with the Postal Service. And we had to be out of that building right then and there. They got us on the cheap because they were going to sue us. And here it is, 5+ years later, and we're just now talking about tearing it down. So I think that is a unfortunate series of events that kind of cheated us out of a negotiated lease with the Postal Service, where the school district got all of that income, which reduced their cost of acquisition significantly, that much more. So that's just for the record.
Sorry.
It sounds like.
No,
sour
you're
grapes.
fine. Unfortunately, we can't do much about the school district.
But it was brought up, and
I appreciate it. Totally understood. Thank you.
appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Hi, Kevin Camerson, 15 Swihart Road. In regards to the post office, I know Supervisor Gizio brought up about tearing it down. Is there a status about when the new place?
Yeah, so I'd had a conversation, I brought it up, a month ago, at our meeting a month ago. So we have it on good authority from the post office that they are going to go into the bottom of Muse Fire Hall. So they're just working out the details soon. They're working as quickly as government entities can work.
A couple people asked me, so.
Yeah,
They have signed a lease.
yeah,
They're just waiting for the funding to renovate the hall.
yep.
That's what I've been told.
It's moving forward. Yep, yep.
It's good to hear about Klinger Park moving forward. I just got a couple phone calls from the Soccer Association, and it's good that you're talking with them.
It'd be great if they would provide details.
Let me speak. A couple of them said that they heard that, that Beadling's trying to take over that, but I know you're talking to them. Then they gotta say if Beadling takes over, I mean, there's probably 2 or 3 people that the association plays for Beadling, so just
I mean,
have communications, and that's, that's all.
I'm communicating everything with,
For the Canada Youth Soccer, for the whole township, and if
but
Beadling
here's the
comes in,
thing, Kevin.
take over the whole thing, so.
Here's the thing, Kevin. And I'm trying very hard not to bash Cannon Mac Soccer Association, but you and I both know 10 years after that lease signed, that parcel of land is nowhere near what the master plan was originally. They were required per the agreement to provide fundraising, to provide funds for improvement, to provide a concession stand, playground, bathroom. I'm not sure how recently you've been up there, but none of that is there. I have asked month after month after month for a proposal for future investments there, for them to work with the CeciL Township to provide those things, and they have declined every single step of the way. So I don't want to get into comments about allowing whether or not we're going to allow other organizations to utilize the property, but at this point, I know you're saying it was meant for the enjoyment of Cannon Mac Soccer. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. It is meant the community as a whole.
Cecil Township for a whole, not for one organization.
Yes, and that's the problem.
An outside organization of Beadling.
But that is the problem. How many people?
And I know you're trying to do that. That's what I'm saying.
I am. And my issue, and I was trying not to air this dirty laundry like this, but my biggest frustration is such a small number of CeciL Township kids, and my kids are that small number, but a small number of CeciL Township kids actually play Cannon Mac Youth Soccer. It is not being utilized for the benefit of the community as a whole, and that is not the intention of the plan. We are not in the business of running a soccer park for Cannon Mac Youth Soccer. So
So I have no idea.
and I can show you every email that's gone to members of their board asking what they're going to do. We had to have our Director of Public Works go up there and put stones. We had our Director of Public Works go up there and put no parking sign and blocking stuff, because after repeatedly asking Cannon Mac Soccer to do it, and they didn't, people were driving on a third field that we've been trying to grow for 5 years. So,
Well, the third field, wasn't it like held up with the indoor facility? Weren't they taking control of that?
it was planted over 3 years ago, but people were driving up there and parking instead because they were too, I don't say lazy, but they didn't want to park over here and walk to their kids' field over here.
Just need to have communications on both
There's
sides.
plenty of communication on both sides.
Sides of each story. So.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else? This meeting is closed.